Hi everybody, Maxine here, Treasures. I hope everyone's having a good day and everyone is well. Today I wanted to do a little craft with me, using up scraps perhaps. We all have these lovely scraps. Everyone has very unique ways of keeping them and storing them that I envy, but I just don't have the room to separate these out in, florals or by colors or what have you. So they all just go into this drawer, which isn't very big. So we have to do something with them, right? Well, I started making these little pockets. I know there's a name for these things, but right now I can't think of what it is. But they're just something to put in your journals. Little pockets, envelopes. No, they're called something, but anyway, so I thought it would be fun to, I'm sure, these have been done many times before. I did do something a little bit different with these two, which I will show you today, how I did those, but various sizes, so you can measure it, so you have the right width and height for the journals that you make. You could use it to like fill a page, it's just like, I don't know what to do with this page. Oh yeah, I'll put one of these on there. So, and then you could decorate these up. This one I did some embellishments on. Here's another one, just using scraps out of my drawer here. So, anyway, yeah, so you can, there's another one that I've done some embellishing on. So you can make them up ahead of time, and then when you're doing a journal, you can then embellishment to the theme or the color combinations or whatever your journal is, and then you can make it fit in with your journal. Here's another one, just using scraps. There's one. This one, the scrap was smaller, so the envelope is smaller. But yeah, this one. And I make these buttons using a hole punch, and I make those out of the scraps as well. So I think this is a 1 inch and some brads. So basically all you need is a scrap of paper, a hole punch. I mean, you could even cut out the circles, or if you have a die cut that's a circle, you could do it like that too. A couple of brads and some string or twine, and you could just make a whole bunch of these. So let's get cracking here. Okay, so here's a piece of paper that is 6 inches by 12 inches. And my journals, well, they vary. They vary a lot. I don't make to any kind of standard size of journal. Some of them are a little bit wider. Some are you know, they just vary quite a bit. So I'm going to do this at about 4 inches. So I'm going to fold this over, and about the 4-inch mark, I'm going to crease. And so then that dictates, of course, what this one's going to be. Okay. Now here, what I do is I take some distress ink, and I ink up these sides a little bit, so then I know where I want to stop, right? So I put this down, and first we're going, let's see, which way is this going? So this is the bottom. So the bottom one I make just to this first line on my cutter. I'm not sure what measurement that is. Possibly a 1/2 inch. And I cut just to that line that I made with the ink, the distress ink. And then over on this side again, I only cut to that line. And that's what you have right here. And I flip it over to the top, and the top ones I've been going to this line, which it looks like it's probably 1 inch measurement. Of course, again, you know, these could be, you can make your flap any size you want, really, depending on the piece of paper that you're using. You know, you can make all kinds of different things. Again, I take this to that mark. And I'm doing it with the cutter only because I can't cut straight. So, you know, if you can cut straight, you don't have a problem with that, then, you know, you don't need to use a cutter for this. And then what I do is I make sure it's all the way up to that line, and then I curve inward. Sorry if I'm not keeping it in frame. I got little washi tape down here to remind me of where I'm supposed to be. And again, at the bottom, I cut inwards a little bit. There we go. Okay, so this is what we're left with. Something that looks kind of like that. So you fold these over, and this is what you have. Now this is a basic one. You could cut this back so you don't have, you know, as much of a, because you don't want your closure buttons clear over here. You want them to kind of align down the middle. And so this is what I ran into when I did this one here. I had a flap going clear over there, and I thought, well, instead of cutting it off, why don't I use that as part of the design? So what I did was I just put the ruler down to help me fold. You could also use a scoreboard for this. Where's my bone folder? There it is. So yeah, you could use scoreboard to do this if you wanted. I have a scoreboard, but I'm being too lazy to get it out right now. So there. Well, that's a little different. And then maybe, well, I think I'm going to cut this one like that. There we go. So that's how that goes. And then at this point, I like to do my inking just because it is so much easier to do it before anything gets glued down. I hope everyone is well and enjoying your summer. It's been kind of hot here the last few days, and today the temperature is supposed to be cooler, but the humidity has gone up dramatically, so it kind of makes lower temperatures worse than when it was 100 degrees, you know. But I'm sorry, did I get out of the frame again? I hope I didn't. Ugh. Okay, so get this all there. And then I have to find where those are. So again, you know, you could use a scoreboard for this. Some paper does better than other paper. I've noticed some paper, for whatever reason, seem to crack. And maybe using a scoreboard and doing the valley mountain rule would probably keep that from happening. I'm sure it would. My problem is I always get my valley on the wrong side. Okay, so there. Like that. So now we need some buttons. Now you could use real buttons. You could actually sew them on if you wanted to. So we have one here. I usually do 3 per button and glue them together so they're extra strong. This is scrapbook paper, so it's pretty thick to begin with. You know, it's almost like a light cardstock maybe. And then I do 1 extra, so we have 7 altogether. And you'll see what I do with that last one. Okay, so then you got to decide, you know, what you want facing upwards. If you guys get a chance, I would like to invite you to check out my Etsy shop. It's tinkanditreasures, all one word, because for some reason that's what, Etsy format makes you do. I have lots of different things that I make. It's not just junk journals, although I have some of those. Junk journals and art journals. I also have pads, for watercolor, using watercolor paper. I make watercolor, art journal. And some of them are made with drawing paper for sketching and drawing. And I also have memory keeper albums as well. And those you can journal in them, write notes about events, how you felt that day or what was going on. And then there's lots of places to mount photos. So, get those pictures out of your phone and get them into something that you can keep and look at and share. You can send photos from your phone. If you have a Walgreens app, you can send photos from your phone to Walgreens and they will print them for you. That's really handy. I discovered that not too long ago. A friend told me about it, and it's pretty nifty. Okay, so you take these two where you have 3 glued together and just punch a hole somewhat in the middle. Like, again, I'm not measuring or anything. You could if you wanted to be precise. And then here we want a hole. Sorry, I was probably out of frame, wasn't I? Let's see, a hole right about there. And then, oops. Well, that might be a little bit off. I should have looked at that first. Line it up with down here. when you're making your hole up here, instead of making sure it's in the middle of this, make sure it's lining up with this. So I need to be over just a little bit. I think the button will cover up that boo-boo. Again, if you didn't see what I did on these 2 discs that have the 3 layers, I just poked a hole in the middle of those. Okay. Now we need to get our brads, and you can use all kinds of brads. You can use large ones, you can use small ones, you can use colorful ones, whatever you have. That's silver, that's bronze. Okay, so then we just put the brad in the middle of those. Make sure and remember to ink these up. Boy, I tell ya, that's the one thing. Sometimes I always remember to ink, and other times I hardly ever remember to ink. make sure you get all the white from those 3 layers that you've got on here. That's basically what I do. Not only does it give it, you know, a little bit of a vintage look, but it just knocks out the white that's on the cut edges. And I'm using Distress Ink Vintage Photo is what I use most of the time. Okay, so now we want to put this in and make sure that the little prongs are going side to side. I don't know if you can see that. The prongs are going this way rather than this way. Okay. And then the 7th one that we cut, this one I use to cover up that brad on the flap. Okay. I'm using art glitter glue. This you could also use glue stick or silicone glue. I really like the silicone glues a lot. I find Fabric Fix or 3-in-1. Frankly, I think they're the same thing. I haven't done any, you know, research on it or anything, but I have a feeling that 3-in-1 glue and Fabric Fix is the same thing. But they work really well. And what I like about the silicone glues, especially with some projects, is they don't get the pages wet, so you don't have any buckling of the paper. There we go. See? Okay, and then this one put down here. Now if this flap was just over and it didn't have these layers and stuff, I would actually cut another one of these and put it on the inside where this brad is, or cover it up. Maybe you have double-sided tape or something like that that you can kind of cover it up with, just so these prongs don't interfere with things that someone is putting down inside, which, you know, things could get held up on these prongs. All right, so with this one, we need to glue down this flap. This one I caught, you know, I think tuxedo would be a good name for it, the style. And then you want to glue down the bottom. Oh, I want to glue this down too. One thing I like about the silicone glues is the applicator here doesn't seem to get as gummed up as what the art glitter glue does. It's like, doesn't matter if you always put the pin back in or anything, it still gets all clogged. Okay, so that's stuck down. That's stuck down. There we go. There. See? And now you want to get some twine, some string. Well, you don't want to use thread. You want something with a little bit of weight to it. Thread would be too thin, and you want something that complements, you know, the style or the colors of your envelope. Do a double knot, pull it tight. I cut off that little tail. You wouldn't need to. Oh, didn't get that. I forgot, see there, I forgot to ink this one up. And I'm seeing the white edge pop through. There. Okay, so you wrap back and around. I used to go like that, and then there we go. So you could decorate this. You could decorate the back or the front. You could clip it on a page with a paper clip. You know, so it's something that can be removed from a journal, or you can just glue it down, and you make a big one that will pretty much take care of a page. You know, especially when it's like, I don't know, you know, you got this whole journal and you've decorated all these pages and you're just like out of inspiration, and it's like, I know. Make one of these and slap it on and call it good. So I hope you like my little share today, and maybe got some ideas for yourself on different ways you can do that. Make sure and check me out on Etsy, and I will see you later. Bye bye for now. Take care.